Hi, I'm Lloyd Armbrust, founder and CEO of Own Local, and this is Broadsheet, the business of news.
My name is Steve Dorsey. I'm the Vice President of Innovation and Planning at the Austin American-Statesman in Austin, Texas. So especially today, I think it's really important that newspapers act more like startups as much as possible. Part of my job is that we're trying to create startups in certain parts of the paper, but in general, the newspaper should be more like a startup because it can try things, it can experiment with things, it can be more nimble, it can fail quickly and learn and move forward. And when you think about it, the newspaper is a prototype every single day. We put something in the street, we put it online every single hour, every single minute, and it can change. But we're stuck in the past where we're always trying to be the same thing all the time.
So my name is Tim McDougall. I am the Vice President of Strategic Innovation at the Gazette Company, which also includes Fusion Farm and Vernon Research Group. If you have a 130-year-old company that needs to act more like a startup to become a 150, 160-year-old company and thrive, then you need to find ways to instill that in it. It's not going to be natural for the team to do that. In fact, most people here, there's a lot of very, very talented people here, most of whom did not sign up to come into an area that was going to be heavily disrupted and changing all the time. And most of them signed up because this was a very stable place. It's one of the more stable places you can work in this community, right? So to get that, you have to find ways that are non-threatening and educational, and ways where they can, where people can feel free to learn and also free to screw something up as they learn and not feel like they just, blew a big client or did something terrible.
My name is Kelly Homewood. I'm the Director of Digital Marketing Products at Fusion Farm in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We do still have to act like a startup. The challenge with that is media companies traditionally don't think like a startup. So there's usually a lot of things that need to be proven before money is spent. And there isn't a lot to prove as a startup. You have to just prove your concept, and then you have to go out and try things. And you have to be able, you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to take some risks, and that's not traditionally part of a successful media company's makeup.
I think a great example of the old model is what newspapers used to go through when they tried to redesign something. So really, when you think about design and design thinking, that's where the old model really failed a lot. A newspaper would spend a lot of time and money, a lot of very clinical research to redesign itself. And then it would say, okay, we're done. The design is set. There's a style, there's a platform, good. And then it would be 10 years later. And then we might actually say, oh, we need to refresh that, we need to change. That's not good enough anymore. We need to be changing all the time, every day. And whether that's digital, print, services, events, marketing, advertising solutions, it's always got to be refined and refining. A startup would never do that. A startup would never come back with an iteration that's the same and the same and the same. It would always be changing and trying and testing. And we need to be more like that in order to survive.
My name is Austen Trimble, and I'm the Director of Sales for Own Local. I think that newspapers need to think about the things that make a great startup, like trying to make the biggest difference with the smallest amount of money. The hacker ideal of trying to put something together on limited resources instead of thinking of what's the biggest budget and the way that I could blow this out the most, but rather to try to make something really impactful on a more lean budget. I think that they could also try to listen a little bit more. I think as a startup, you want to develop your customer and you want to find out, what do they want? Is this something that they're willing to pay for if that's something that they want? And what you're really trying to get at is, what problem does the customer have?
We have to keep up. We have to evolve our products to be able to deliver as people are wanting to consume news, but we also have to be able to monetize that, and that's what's become more and more tricky.